Welcome to another episode of Finding the Extraordinary in the Ordinary. And I'm here with Shawn Bjorndal. Shawn, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Tracy. It's a pleasure. Pleasure being here with you to talk to you.
Well, we're sitting around the campfire, and can you hear it raging
I can.
and
It's
feel
hot.
it? It's
Yes,
pretty hot.
it's very
Yeah,
hot.
yeah. How do you feel about camping?
I love camping. Yeah, I love it. Love being outdoors. My boys love it. I have two smaller boys, and I can even get my wife to go out camping a couple times a year as well. So, which is yeah, but it's a lot of fun.
Well, Shawn, we're here to talk a little bit about you and really around what your core talents are. And one thing that's really interesting is you originally wanted to be a professional boxer, and then you shifted to pharmacy. So, how do those two relate?
Well, I think it goes further back. I wanted to be, growing up, like Bo Jackson. I wanted to be a pro baseball player and pro football player. Thought I had the talent and the work ethic and the speed for that, but I found out I didn't. But then I still had this idea that I wanted to be a professional athlete, and I got into boxing in college. So that was actually my grandpa's idea. He told me to quit pharmacy school and go the professional route in boxing, but luckily I was smart enough to know that I wouldn't make it in professional boxing either, and that I had to go stick with my brains. So that's where I kept going with pharmacy.
Yeah, and interesting in that story, you talk a lot about your drive.
Yeah.
It's not acceptable just to be an average boxer or an average baseball player. You really want to be the top of your game. Do you find that translates into what you do now in pharmacy?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I mean, I kind of feel like I look at my boys right now, like my oldest, and I'm like, when I was 8, I was doing this, this, and this. So I don't know if it's like something that you're born with or if it's something that you can hopefully teach. Hopefully you can teach it, because I look at their futures and want them to be driven as well. But I feel that it's the same in my professional career now.
And talking about your career, you're a CEO right now of 2 businesses. Talk about your decision to try and have the courage to take that on your own, and what's motivating you?
I think a lot of it's wanting to make a bigger impact, and I feel when you're in a large corporation, you don't really have that ability. You can make impacts, but they're kind of more smaller, and a lot of times you probably won't even get the credit for it either, right? It's going to be your boss that gets the credit for that. So it's just, I mean, there's so much that we can do in healthcare and that needs to be done in healthcare that it's going to take a lot more of people who want to make an impact outside the box, building stuff themselves versus finding that next W-2 job.
And when you talk about impact, what is that vision? Is it in the pharmacy world, or is it in the entire continuum of care?
I would say in the entire continuum of care. I mean, but I think being pharmacists, like, we have so much that we can do within the entire continuum of care. Everything from, obviously to dispensing, but then when you get into the clinical work with just the consulting, medication therapy management, and remote patient monitoring, just to start, obviously we do have vaccinations and all that. There's just so much we can do to help people, really deprescribe, get people off the medications and living healthier lives, through more combination of pharmacy and more holistic approaches, functional medicine type of things.
What do you see the biggest challenge?
For us is provider status and reimbursements.
As a pharmacist?
As pharmacy, yeah.
Mm. And really one of your core talents is being a connector.
Yeah.
A connector of people. Do you feel like you'll be able to leverage that in your new businesses?
Yeah, I mean, that's how, like my PGX Ally is, really off to the races because of finding the right people and connecting so well.
Well, let's talk about PGX Ally.
Yeah.
What is it?
PGX Ally is a way that we are trying to get more clinical work to pharmacists, more people that are really driven, entrepreneurs to start building their own practices as we're finding them work to do in the meantime. And it starts with like the pharmacogenomics and the CMRs, in that combination. But then that's where we want to expand to remote patient monitoring and other clinical.
Do you feel like you're pioneering?
Yes and no. I mean, there's a lot of companies that are doing similar things out there, but not kind of in the package deal that we're offering right now.
And then pivoting a little bit more, you have another business called RPH Ally. Why don't
Yes.
we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So RPH Ally was kind of born out of an idea to help community pharmacists with corresponding responsibility. And then I wasn't very well connected within the industry, so then that's where I went to social media, and I just found that it's a complete mess within pharmacy and social media, that I thought it would be great to have one, more main place to go to do everything you need to do in pharmacy. So that was where it started, and then it and that was where it became really fun, and actually where I learned that I actually can really well at connecting with people and making new friends, that sort of thing. So that was it's been a long, I say it's over, we launched a couple years ago now. It's been like a grinding long path, but it's been fun at the same time.
Learning a lot about yourself and
Yes.
other people. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, if you were to crystallize one of the biggest lessons you've learned over the last 2 years?
Um, don't spend your money too fast. Right? I mean, you need to be smart, and that was really like the school of hard knocks with business. I thought in pharmacy school, like we had the option to go one more year to get that MBA, but being young and confident, you're like, I don't need that. I'm gonna get a doctor of pharmacy. Why would I need an MBA, right? Um, but no, it's when you're building a business, there's a lot of stuff that you need to put in there that is not pharmacy related, like 90% of it, right? So
Right. Now, you're a man of deep faith.
yes.
How does that play a role in your professional life?
Honestly, this is what drives my professional life. I love this story because it was 2 years ago. I started I think, well, it was right before COVID hit. I started taking my oldest to Sunday school because I like never missed when I was growing up, and so then I would, it's a drop off where you take them to the Sunday school, you go to church, and Pastor Jason's really awesome. He's really great messages, and he would literally tells you to take out your phone and take notes. And so then I'm like, okay, I might as well start taking notes. So I started taking notes, and then he asked a question about, ask God to help you in all aspects of your life. Up until that point, being a pharmacist, making pretty good money, I thought I didn't need any help in my professional career. But then I'm like, well, I had some legal troubles going on within my pick role, and I'm like, I need some help here, God. And then it just kind of snowballed from there. And that's how I found my partners for PGX Ally. Is, I looked at them, and I love what they do in the profession, but then they also have a very deep faith, and that's how kind of we started building upon that. And it feels like that was God telling me, pick these people as your partners and go with it. So
That's fantastic.
yeah.
And you talked about partners. What was the genesis behind you deciding that you needed partners rather than being
Building stuff, but I really wasn't. I didn't build RPH Ally. It was like, those are the developers and the engineers. I just told them what I wanted, right? But then it was like, oh gosh, like I like when we created when I started PGX Ally, it was like it wasn't moving because but then once I started getting the two partners and brought them on board, then it's like, okay, now we're off to the races.
Well, Shawn, thank you. Thank you for your time. And
Yes, thank
we
you.
just appreciate you sharing so much about your experiences and hopefully inspiration for others and
Awesome.
lessons learned. So
Yes, thank you,
thank
Tracy.
you.